this time.
Okay. Before we do anything else, though,
Yeah.
I want to do a quick commercial.
Ooh.
We have an event coming up in September, Yes Fest.
Ooh, Yes Fest.
Yeah.
That's
Youth
exciting.
Engineering and Science Festival, I believe, is the thing.
That's a good time.
Say yes to the fest. And there are a few exhibitor spots left. So if anyone listening to this is like works in a STEM field or is involved in a STEM related professional group or something like that, you know who you are.
Yeah.
I'm like trying to talk about
Your
it
ears
like I
perked
know
up.
anything. Yeah. If you're like, that sounds vaguely related to what I do. They are still looking for some more exhibitors. So at mylibrary.us/yesfest, you can find an exhibitor application. There is a separate application if you work for a for-profit and you wanted to exhibit on the behalf of the for-profit. So there are two links there. There's for nonprofit, not-for-profit, or maybe you're just an individual or something. Mm-hmm. And then there's the if you work for Ball Aerospace,
right?
Then you go to the for-profit side.
Okay.
But yeah.
Cool.
I just wanted to throw that in there right up top.
Maybe one of our listeners is or knows the perfect person.
There has to be someone who knows someone. There aren't a ton of spots left. So, if you're thinking about it, I would put in the application.
Yeah. Act now.
As soon as possible. Yeah. Act now.
Now.
Do it now.
Space is limited.
Space is limited. That's actually true. Outer space, though.
Not limited.
Unlimited.
No edge.
No end to it.
As Hank Green famously has said.
Yeah.
No edge.
Yeah. I believe Hank Green when he says things for the most part.
He's a smart guy.
I was trying to think. I saw him say something that I disagreed with, but it was something really silly. Doesn't matter.
Okay.
As fascinating as that is. Welcome to Why Did You Read That?
The podcast.
The podcast. If we sound a little different today.
There's a reason.
Yeah, we're at my home studio, which is, what I call this, because my hot water heater broke.
Yeah, adulting happened.
Yeah, so maybe someone was going to fix it, but they're not. They're going to fix it on Tuesday.
Yeah.
So.
And we're just for context, we're on a Friday.
Yeah. And I am T-minus one cold shower into, the few days without a.
But as I pointed out, at least it's summer.
It is summer.
Cold
so
showers are definitely
not
worse than
as
the winter.
bad. Yeah. Not as bad. This is the exact same thing that happened when our furnace went out on a Friday afternoon in the winter. That was bad.
Did your gas fireplace continue to work?
No. Well, because we had to get the gas shut off. So we had no heat at all.
Yikes.
Yeah, and so that we had no heat for, I think, 4 days. And we had to run electric space heaters, though, in the utility closet.
I was going to say,
keep
you don't want
things
stuff
from
to
freezing
freeze.
up.
Yeah.
And so, but then we were nervous about that because you don't just really want a space heater running 24/7 somewhere.
This is true.
It was a long week.
Yeah.
That sucked.
The perils of grown-uphood.
Yeah, being grown up is terrible.
Yeah.
It feels like I'm always arguing with my partner about this because I don't know, these things don't bother her so much. And for me, they're horrible. I just probably 2 weeks ago repaired our dryer, which I was shocked that I was able to do, but I did it. And it turned out good and it all works and everything. But I was like, it just feels like owning a home is like constant entropy that you're slowly fighting back against when you have to. But, and everyone's like, oh, yeah, you got to do all this maintenance and that'll make it last longer and stuff. And then I'm like, but it feels like this is like a dying patient that I live inside of. And I'm just taking heroic efforts constantly to keep it alive.
I've never fixed anything, but I do have a washer dryer in my house, and the dryer's on the left, washer's on the right. Dryer door opened from the left to the right so that it was like,
Yep.
I switched it.
Good job.
Thank you.
It is a nice thing that you can do that
with
most appliances.
I felt very accomplished.
Yeah. It always makes me wonder with those two. I'm like, I wonder if like washer dryer companies, someone must have done the math on this and been like, it's actually worse for us to try and manufacture two different kinds and then sell them, you know, and be like, I don't know, the right hand swing costs $5 more or something.
And
like,
nobody knows. Like when you're buying a washer dryer, do you know what your hookups are?
No.
The setup? No.
Nope. And yeah, and then if you move or whatever too, then you don't know what you're going to do.
Anyway.
Sucks.
Let's move on
Everything
from the
sucks.
sad, boring things.
Yeah, okay. All right. So yeah, we'll do our books. But first, you have a joke for me, I presume.
I got this joke from, so you know there's a new Jurassic Park movie, and the stars of the movie are doing a press junket. And
it's Scarlett Johansson? Is she the star?
But she's in it, but this is from Jonathan Bailey, who was also in it. I don't know how it started, but there was just a clip on Instagram of him and another star telling stupid jokes to each other.
Okay.
And giggling like maniacs. And I loved this one.
Okay.
So I stole it.
Okay.
So it's like not a joke where you have to answer. It's just a joke that I tell you, okay?
Okay.
Okay. I named my horse Mayo. Mayo neighs.
Oh, God. Well, that joke brought to us by Jurassic Park.
By Jonathan Bailey.
6? 7?
I don't know.
Jurassic Park 7. Oops, I did it again.
I heard that this one is an improvement from some of the last few.
I'm trying to remember. I think I've missed one or two. Because the last one I saw was the one where like the, Diplodocus or whatever is on the dock as the island's burning down. And you're like, oh, this guy's going to get burned up. It was like the first one of the kind of when they brought it back. And Chris Pratt was riding a motorcycle with velociraptors.
Yeah, I think that is the first of the last trilogy.
Okay.
Maybe. Or it might be the second.
I kind of liked it because it was stupid in the way that I like.
Yeah.
Because I was like, Chris Pratt, like having velociraptors basically as his dog friends is stupid and fun.
Yeah.
B, I was like, we really brought back the 80s plot of the government for some reason thinks like dinosaurs could be turned into a military weapon. And I'm like, this is such a bad idea.
My alien argument every time.
Oh, Wayland Yutani is so dumb. Every time they're like, this time we'll have it under control. And it's like, you won't. You definitely won't.
Did you know that the Alien Earth series starts next month?
No, I knew that was coming.
Next month.
That is a company that is like, I don't understand how they got so successful.
Yeah.
I'm like, what was your original products that got you so successful?
I'm sure there's lore about it. I should probably know, but I don't. But did you know that it is now canon that the Alien universe is the same universe as the Predator universe?
Oh, no. How did that happen?
There is I'm not sure if it's a movie or a TV show, but I saw the trailer and there is like an android who is like not...
I prefer synthetic human.
Artificial person.
Damn it. I was so close.
It's like not operational, looks broken, and has like the offline eyeballs that are rolled up, and the Wayland Yutani logo is on the eyeballs, and then it loads up, and it's like on a Predator universe.
Oh, okay.
So she ends up like teaming up with a Predator, fighting something huge.
This is another thing about like Wayland Yutani is you're like, why would you put that on the eyeball? So it's like a creepy, what's the creepiest place we could put our logo? How about on their eyeballs when their eyeballs are rolled up into their head, like a dead person? And it's like, why? Like, who is that for? Who sees that and is like, that gives me good feelings about this company, or like, that seems trustworthy. Like, what are they doing? That has got to be the worst, most mismanaged company ever.
Yeah.
Like, ever. It blows my mind because, we've all made a lot of hay of Jurassic Park, right? And you're like, who is insuring this park at
Yeah.
this point? You know what I mean? And like, and who's going there? How many Jurassic
Tell
Parks?
me you wouldn't be tempted to go.
I would, but like, I have no kids, you know, on the happiness
Yeah,
scale most
I have to
days,
admit, I
I'm a
would not
5
bring
out of
children.
10. So I'm like, well, maybe I could capture some joy in life by seeing a dinosaur. And B, if things went awry,
Yeah.
I don't have that much to live for.
And honestly, they should have just done herbivores.
Yeah.
It would be just as exciting for me to see like a stegosaurus and a triceratops.
That's like, yeah, in one of the newer movies, right? And they're like, well, we designed a new dinosaur that can like turn invisible and is
It's
like,
like a mega predator.
yeah, and it's more aggressive than, you know, it's like if we combine the aggression of this animal with the poisonous
And the
factors of this.
intelligence of a third.
Yeah, and you're like, why? You know what I mean?
You're
It's like,
designing your own doom.
why wouldn't you just make a, you know, a plant eater and be like, oh, we made it a fun color. And it's like, okay,
I don't
that's
even
fine.
need that. I just want to see.
I don't either. I
I
mean,
would be fine seeing just a regular triceratops. I think that'd be pretty great.
same, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, we couldn't have been happy with just they saw like a brontosaurus or whatever in the first movie and then the triceratops laying on its
Yeah.
side. And it's like, that wasn't enough. They're like, we made a T-Rex. And it's like, why?
Yeah.
Why would you do that?
We have gotten off track.
We have, but yeah. You could have a great like face off between the two companies, Weyland-Yutani and Jurassic Park Holdings Incorporated, of
Yeah.
like which of
A
these
dumb
was
off.
worse. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a show that's like reverse Shark
Dumb
Tank.
idea. Yeah. Dumb idea showdown.
Someone really should go onto Shark Tank and be like, sharks, I've discovered an alien species on another world. Super dangerous, incredibly deadly,
Yeah.
acid for blood, seems to just want to kill.
99.9% kill rate.
Yeah. I think we should bring it to Earth to do something.
Well, I think in the show, it doesn't get brought to Earth. It crash lands.
I think we should capture it and do stuff with it.
Yeah.
It's like,
Also dumb.
well,
For demonstrations, read the comics.
yeah. Every time, every single time. It's like they all think like, I've had this like thought lately of a new rule for humanity. And it's like, if you think that you figured out something else that seems really obvious and everyone else has missed it, maybe you are a genius. Maybe though, maybe there's something obvious that you're missing
Yeah.
about why your brilliant idea is not a great idea.
It's true.
Just, you know, do a couple Googles.
It hurts nothing.
Watch a couple horror movies.
Run your idea past someone that you trust.
Yeah. Start Google search horror movie and then your idea and see if that's happened and
Yeah.
if someone has thought about this
Yeah.
and how it may play out. Okay.
Okay.
Let's get to books.
Yes, I have books.
I'm going to write them down.
All right. My first book is sorry, that's the joke.
Oh, shoot.
Moving down. Harriet Tubman Live in Concert by Bob the Drag Queen.
Okay.
Next book.
Is
Ready?
that like picture book or is that
No,
like
it is a novel with several starred reviews.
Okay, Bob the Drag Queen.
Bob the Drag Queen,
All right.
famously from RuPaul's Drag Race.
Oh, okay. I'm not very up on RuPaul's Drag Race, so I
Well,
feel
he was
like that's
winner
a
of one
cultural.
of the. It's been several seasons now, but
Okay.
he was one of my favorites. So,
Okay.
Yeah, and apparently, people really like this book, and so I wanted to read it, and so I did.
You know the problem I've had with RuPaul's Drag Race has been, I bet you were bracing yourself, listeners, to hear something, but actually the problem was, I'm like a weird completionist, so I always want to start from season 1. And with
Oh.
that show, people are like, you should start a few seasons in.
Yeah.
And then
I wouldn't even
they kinda
honestly
hit their
watch
footing.
season 2. The
Yeah.
season 2 winner is kind of a disappointment, and has continued to be one.
Well, you could tell, like, I watched a few of season 1, and you could tell they were like, how does this show work? You
Yeah, they
know,
were
and still
figuring
figuring
things
it out.
Yeah.
Like, as is the case for many shows of this type of reality competition shows. But I cannot help myself. Like, I'm like, I have to watch season 1.
It's a great show.
Yeah.
And the early seasons are not worth the time, I promise.
I believe it.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Second book, At Large and at Small by Anne Fadiman. It's a series of familiar essays.
Familiar essays?
Yeah, which is a term that I was unfamiliar with.
Yeah.
So apparently you have like critical essays where, you know, somebody is writing about like a subject apart from them. You have personal essays, which is someone like writing an essay about, say, an event in their childhood. And then familiar essays, which is like a combination, a blending of the two.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oops.
I'm highly intrigued by your choices so far this month.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You're going to like this one, I think.
Okay.
Run for the Hills by Kevin Wilson.
Oh, I love Kevin Wilson.
I know you do. I started reading him because you like him.
I think somebody actually just recommended this to me on Facebook. Recommended it to me as HPLD.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
Wow. They know what they're talking about.
I guess so. I'm a little disappointed it's not Run to the Hills, because that would be the
there's a reason.
Iron Maiden song.
Well, yeah, there's a reason it's Run for the Hills.
All right. Fair enough.
And my final option is a graphic novel that is originally a Norwegian graphic novel that is now translated and available in the U.S. called Nordlys, which is Norwegian for Northern Lights.
Okay.
By Malin Falch.
Just so when I'm looking for this later, will you spell the name of it for me?
Nordlys.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Boy.
I know I have a good set.
Yeah, this is a hard one this time. I think I want to hear about At Large and at Small.
Okay.
Because the title made me laugh.
Yeah.
And also the sort of structured setup idea is intriguing to me.
And I'm just going to bring, so I read this digitally, so I'm going to bring it up because I want to look at the chapters, because that's going to remind me of some of the topics,
some of the
that she
things that were
about,
covered.
Yeah. So Anne Fadiman is the daughter of Clifton Fadiman, who most people won't know, but for people who care about like literary criticism, he's a bigwig. Like,
okay.
He wrote a lot about literature. I think he taught literature, and he wrote a ton of like essays, a ton of like, if you look up Clifton Fadiman, he's written books on like how to read a book and like the, you know, the canon, like his 100 best books in the English language, that kind of stuff. He's like one of those guys.
All our English majors out there with their Norton Anthology of Literary Criticism.
Yeah.
Could probably find
he's probably
that
in
fella.
There, yeah. I think he'd probably be in there. And Anne Fadiman is his daughter.
Okay.
And I first read her. She wrote a series of what I think would be personal essays called Ex Libris. And she wrote an essay, it's still one of my favorite essays, about how she knew that she was fully in on her marriage when they married their libraries. Whoa. So like when they went through combined and got rid of duplicates and intershelved and all of that.
That just I've been married for almost a year, and that just gave me like a minor panic attack.
See, book people know.
I have a lot more books than my wife. Mm-hmm. The thing that would make me panicked about it, one of the books I'm about to share today is a good example of this. Of I feel like my wife would see it and be like, what the hell is this? Like, how are you spending money? What? I don't think you should have access to adult money anymore. That's pretty awesome. Yeah. Okay.
So anyway, I love that essay. It's a great essay.
It's a great idea.
So ever since I read that book, I've been intending to go back and revisit her. And
okay.
So I picked this up.
Nice.
All right. So they're like not really connected essays except for the fact that they're things that matter to her.
Okay.
So like it opens up and she's writing about being a kid, and she and her brother they collected butterflies. Mm-hmm. And she goes into like the history of lepidoptery, which is like the study of butterflies. And she talks about, you know, the books that they had for identifying them and the books that gave them advice about how to kill them because, they were collecting them. They killed them. And how eventually they got old enough to maybe start thinking like, maybe, even though they talk about like the thrill of acquiring, like,
sure.
She talks about seeing a Luna moth that landed on the AC unit of a second floor, room of her house. And she was outside and she said like the intense desire she had to have that Luna moth.
Yeah.
Even though like she was sitting there and enjoying its beauty.
Yeah.
So she's just exploring like the duality of that, like loving them and the intense desire to own and catalog them,
I feel like butterfly collecting is like a top hobby that at one time would be like, oh, that's, whatever,
wholesome.
Very normal, wholesome, whatever. And now is like maybe the number one hobby you would give to a kid in a movie about, a young Hannibal Lecter or something.
Yeah.
Like it's just got that connotation now of like, oh, I pinned the dead corpses of these animals to a thing and look at them.
Yeah. There is a store in Denver that I'm a big fan of called Terrarium, but it's spelled terror. And they do, they offer like, what is it when you stuff an animal?
Taxidermy.
They offer taxidermy classes, and you can buy taxidermy supplies or just taxidermied animals. But they also have like plants and crystals and creepy paintings and weird like pots and stuff.
Your oddities store kind of thing.
And you can get framed butterflies from them. So
yeah, it's like at some point it turned into like a more subculture-y, gothy, macabre kind of thing. Like, yeah, it has a very macabre vibe now, whereas I think back in the day it was very like, I don't know, no different from...
Maybe even nerdy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
Wonder how that... Well, I guess I'm not going to argue about whether or not that's a good change. It's probably okay. I mean, maybe it's partially to like, today I could just take a picture of a butterfly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, and
I could see one on Google.
It's possible also, like, because people make like really pretty jewelry out of butterfly wings.
Yeah.
But you can get them, sourced like humanely from like the butterfly emporium. Like when the butterflies naturally die.
At the pavilion or whatever.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay.
They will take the wings and like make them independents or whatever. And you can buy them from butterflies that just died because they were ready to die.
I always thought about stuff like that, like with cows and leather or something, where I'm like, what if I had a farm though, and I just raised a cow and just let it live its life?
Yeah.
And then once it reached the natural end of its life, but then I'm like, I don't know, would I be real hot on wearing a pair of pants made out of my old pet? Like,
yeah. Well, and I have a feeling it wouldn't be cost effective.
Oh, definitely not. Definitely not.
But anyway, that's beside the point. So that's like one of the essays that I quite enjoyed. She also has a really good one. This one, I don't know, I felt in my own heart because she wrote about circadian rhythms and being a natural night owl. I am a natural night owl, and people always tell me that if you just made it a habit to get up earlier, you wouldn't be a night owl, and it's not true.
Isn't that the most annoying thing?
Yeah.
Everything, if you're a night owl, everyone's like, just simply do this.
Yeah.
And you're like, that works for you because you're not this way.
Well, and it's because like, I think 1 in 10 people are actually night owls.
Yeah.
There are 3 different circadian rhythms. One are like the early morning people. One are like your regular, like waking up at 8 or 9 a.m. type people. And then there's night owls, and they're very rare. But it is a real thing. They've done science on it. It is like a natural circadian rhythm. So it's not just that like people who, when left to their own devices, naturally end up sleeping until, 10 or 11 and staying up until, 2 in the morning.
Right.
Like that is just the way their brain works. And I happen to be one of those people.
Yeah.
So she writes about being a night owl who was married to a lark.
Oh, okay.
And
is that an early morning person?
yeah, that's an early morning person. And how like their overlap is from like opposite ends of their day. Like, and she's, had to change some of her habits. And, most night owls do. We have to change our habits because my boss is never going to see me if I show up, for the last couple hours of the work day and then work through the night. Like,
yeah. It would be a tough sell.
Yeah.
Even though it wouldn't really make a substantive difference. Yeah.
Well, and you'd be getting my better brain.
Yeah.
Like my brain's really popping, like starting at like 11 at night.
Yeah. It's true.
Yeah.
It is a curse.
Yeah.
I think of it too, like when I was we were on a long flight and I cannot sleep on the plane. And I was trying to look up advice for sleeping on the plane.
Yeah.
Everyone who gives advice about how to sleep on a plane is good at sleeping on a plane.
Yeah.
So they're like, oh yeah, just do this. They're like, make sure you drink plenty of water so you're hydrated. And I'm like, okay. And then they're like, wear an eye mask. And I'm like, guys, these are not like, this is not helpful for me.
Yeah.
I understand that if you're able to sleep on a plane, you probably don't have to do a whole lot, but
I had to train myself to sleep on planes. And I honestly don't think I did anything other than force myself to remain still in my seat with my eyes closed until I just went to sleep. And now when I'm on planes, I just have this intense desire to sleep.
I just can't. I don't know.
Yeah.
Just being sitting up, I think it's too hard for me to. Anyway.
So yeah.
It's like a similar thing where I just feel like people are like, oh, just do this. And I'm like, I know that works for you. That's because you don't have the problem I have.
Yeah. Yeah. Same with night owl. They showed that they can actually do something involving like bright lights that will shift you into being like a lark, but it doesn't last more than like a couple weeks. Like
you just have to keep doing it.
I don't know if that would, I don't know. She just was like, they can do this thing and your circadian rhythm will shift, but it drifts right back.
Okay.
So it's like, you can't actually really change your natural circadian rhythm.
I believe that 100%.
Me too.
Because, I think
I take a week off and next thing I know, I am just awake at 3 a.m. because I am.
Yep. Yeah, like I always think it's like if I did an experiment where I put myself in a room and no way to know what time it was, I bet I would go to bed at like 12 or 1 and wake up at, 9 or 10. Mm-hmm. And that would probably be pretty close to my normal style. We're trapped in a world we never made, just like Howard the Duck.
During lockdown, it was a glorious time. I just slept when I wanted to sleep, and my brain worked so well. Yeah, it was nice.
I mean, there are nice things about, like, I used to go to the grocery store at like 11 p.m.
Yeah,
and that's like a great time to go to the grocery store because there is nobody there.
Yeah. My brother, he's an early morning guy, and he goes at like 6, and he says the same thing.
Yeah,
no one's there.
Yep, you can do it on either end.
Yep,
and it works out. Your brother's gonna have a good life when he's like an old man.
Yeah,
be able to go to that grocery store at 6, hit the 11 a.m. movie on a Tuesday.
I wonder sometimes what his actual like circadian rhythm is, because he just has had this job that requires him to get up at like pre-dawn hours for so long that I think now he just does because he's in that pattern.
Yep.
He also has insomnia.
Okay.
So like he has to sleep the same hours every night or it messes up his sleep. So
yeah, I have that same issue.
Yeah.
I have to get up at the same time on the weekend because
Yeah.
otherwise I'll be messed up. I can't sleep in.
Yeah.
It dooms me if I do that.
Yeah. Technically that I have that problem, but I do not do the responsible thing anyway.
You're not ready to be that grown up yet.
That is correct.
In that one realm of life, at least.
But anyway, it's a great little series of essays, and it is on Hoopla for anybody who is looking for it.
Nice.
I also really recommend Ex Libris, which is her book of essays about books and reading.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, let me get my pen out.
I'll tell you about my books.
I'm ready.
All right. My first book is called Plumbers Don't Wear Ties by Mike Drucker. You may remember Mike Drucker from, last time I talked about his memoir. This is a novelization of a book or of a video game that never had a novelization that he wrote like in the last year. So it's like
Is
a
it an actual
90s
Plumbers
game.
Don't Wear Ties? Is a video game?
Yep. Huh. It's a pretty terrible video game as well. Let's see. The next one is called Paranoid Gardens by Gerard Way. So that's a comic. Gerard Way, you may recognize as the lead singer of My Chemical Romance, as well as he wrote Umbrella Academy.
Oh, okay. Really?
And then, yeah.
Wow.
And then he's done some work for DC, Doom Patrol, a couple other things, I think.
Wow.
So yeah, he's been in the comics world.
That's a heck of a double career.
He's kind of made it big in two different realms.
Yeah.
There's actually a great clip of him when he's probably like 17, and he was at a taping of like a Sally Jesse Raphael or something, which, kids, if you don't know what that, it's kind of like a Jerry Springer-ish show, halfway between Jerry Springer and Oprah, somewhere in the middle there.
Yeah.
And someone was on there talking about comics and stuff, and there's in a clip of him in the audience being interviewed, and he's like, I don't understand why you're so down on comics. Like, they're not just for kids, and adults can like comics too, and I like comics, and I write for Boneyard Press and blah blah blah. It's just funny because that reemerged a few years ago, and everyone's like, I think this is a baby Gerard Way, and it totally was.
Sure enough.
Yeah.
Nice. Precocious.
Definitely. The next one is a manga, Dandadan by Yukinobu Tatsu. It's kind of like a X-Files crossed with a rom-com crossed with a madcap manga.
Okay.
And then the last one is this is a single issue of a comic book, and so I'll do my best to see if I can find it in our collection. But because Fantastic Four movie is out, this is one of my favorite stories featuring the Thing from Fantastic Four. It's Marvel 2-in-1 Annual number 7 from 1982.
I'm just gonna write Fantastic Four.
Okay.
Let's see. Oh, I don't know. Let's start with Paranoid Gardens.
Okay. So, Paranoid Gardens follows a woman who's kind of like a nursing home worker, but she's working at a unusual sort of facility. It's a facility that's kind of hidden in the forest, and it caters to aliens, monsters, ghosts somehow, former superheroes and supervillains, things like this, who are either elderly and or maybe have memory issues or different things like that. So she gets a job there, and it's weird.
Makes sense.
For comics readers, this is very much like Gerard Way writes a lot of comics that are kind of, you can tell Grant Morrison is a big inspiration. Grant Morrison writes weird books. Sometimes they're weird and great, and sometimes for me they're weird and hard to follow. And they kind of oscillate between, because it seems like sometimes Grant Morrison has ideas that I don't understand. And I'm reading it and I'm like, what is happening? And so when Gerard Way does it, usually I understand what's going on. And that's the case with Paranoid Gardens. So, I don't want to get too far into it, but it's kind of like the rest home is actually also kind of alive. As people who are familiar with Doom Patrol will know, Danny the Living Street, which is like a sentient street, and will change around the signs on businesses and stuff like that to express things, and will change its geography sometimes to do different things. It's a super weird, interesting idea. And so it kind of follows. There's a superhero who kind of ends up in there, but is a problem because he's a Superman analog and is difficult to handle because he's having like memory issues.
Right.
And so, thinks that he has to beat somebody up, and it's like he doesn't, but they have a hard time controlling him.
Sure.
And then things start happening to the gardens. So the gardens will actually prevent people from entering the facility if they're not supposed to be there. It almost acts like it has an immune system that repels people. But somebody figures out a way to sort of circumvent that. And so the facility starts dying, and they have to figure out how to reverse that, and if they can or not. And because if they can't, they're like, what are we going to do with all these people?
Right.
This is a sort of uniquely suited facility for them. And it might not go great to try and put them somewhere else or do something else with them. It also has kind of like healing properties for people. So if they come in and they're already, if they have dementia, it's not going to cure their dementia. But if they sustain an injury while they're there, usually the being in the facility helps them recover a lot faster and better than they would.
Okay.
So yeah, it's super weird.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different little subplots going on throughout it.
Is it standalone?
Yeah, it could be. I mean, it could continue. I'm not sure if it will or not. But it has like one story arc that begin, middle, and end and wraps up in a satisfactory way. But yeah, it was kind of just like a weird one that popped up. I thought it was interesting. My Chemical Romance, I guess, is on tour right now, which is wild.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It's one that I don't think is getting a ton of notice. I think it's hard for comics when if it's not a TV show, if it doesn't feature a character that everybody knows, I think it can be hard for comics to get a lot of traction.
Yeah.
So this is one that I would just like to give a little shout out for. And, it's maybe a little more, I don't know, avant-garde than some things. But I think most readers who are even vaguely familiar with the conventions of if you've seen the Avengers movies, this will make sense to you.
Right.
And that's all you need.
Cool. It sounds intriguing.
It's good.
Yeah.
I liked it.
Cool.
It was different, but in a good way. Not in a way of some of Grant Morrison's work that I'm like,
I feel like I've read something by him. Did he write something about trees?
Maybe. That might have been Warren Ellis.
It was Warren Ellis,
yeah.
You're right.
But Grant Morrison, his more like accessible things are like All-Star Superman is one that Grant Morrison did that's really good. Grant Morrison also wrote a book called Super Gods, which is kind of about superheroes and stuff, and it's really good. But then, and some of the other good ones, he did a book called, or maybe Grant Morrison might be a they. I think a they. So they did The Authority was a really good one. But then they've done some called, like there's one called The Invisibles that I just find impenetrable. And Doom Patrol is one they did that I also find really hit or miss.
Okay.
Some of the stuff and some of the ideas and some of the concepts are really cool. But sometimes it's just so out there that I can't get a grip on it anywhere. Yeah. Like I can't find a foothold into it.
Yeah.
That lets me read it. And Grant Morrison also did a run on Batman that I didn't really care for.
Okay.
There was just too much going on, and I was like, who? What? Like, what? And then DC Comics kind of hasn't really said what the actual reading order is of those books, because it's not really possible to put them in an order. And I'm like, does this mean something to anyone but me that you cannot put them in an order as the publisher of them? Like, that seems a little weird.
Yeah.
Anyway. So yeah, that's a little side tangent about Grant Morrison. I think Grant Morrison's probably most mainstream work is what I prefer and is really good.
Yeah.
And for me, when Grant Morrison gets a little more artsy fartsy is when I'm like, yeah, I can't hang with it.
You've never been a huge artsy fartsy guy.
I'm not. Yeah. So some people love it.
Yeah.
Some people probably like Grant Morrison off the chain. And I'm like, maybe keep Grant Morrison on the chain. give Grant Morrison some length to run, but let's not completely.
Fair enough.
So there you go. That's Paranoid Gardens.
Okay.
With a side dish of Grant Morrison. All right. Oh, boy. I'm going to pick Run for the Hills by Kevin Wilson.
Okay.
Just because I really like Kevin Wilson.
Yeah.
And so I want more people to hear about Kevin Wilson.
Fair enough. So Run for the Hills is his most recent. I think it's out this year. So it's relatively, maybe even brand new. I'm not sure. But it is, so its narrator is a woman in her 30s named Mad. And she lives on a farm in Tennessee with her mom. When she was young, it was like her mom, and her dad on this farm. And then when she was 10, he left them, and she hasn't seen him since. And so this farm has become like kind of relatively famous. It's been in like magazines. They're really well known for their eggs. And so she's at like the farm stall one day, and this guy shows up and he buys some corn and just kind of standing. He's driving this PT Cruiser and just kind of standing around. And then he just kind of tells her that his last name is also Hill, and he's pretty sure that they have the same dad.
Okay.
So he's in his 40s, and his dad, who is also her dad, was born in Boston. She thought her dad was born in Maine, but he said no, he was definitely born in Boston. And then he married my mom, and they never officially got divorced, and had me. And when I was 10, he left. And he lived in Boston, and he was a mystery writer. And then when his son was 10, he moved away, or just like left them. And now his son, his name is Reuben. His dad is big into nicknames.
Okay.
So everything gets shortened. Now writes, like, he's written several mystery novels. One was adapted into a movie, fairly bad movie, but it was adapted into a movie. And when his mom died, he didn't have anyone kind of left. So he decided to start looking for his dad. And in the course of that, discovered that his dad had moved on and started new families after he left theirs. Okay. So when he left Boston, he moved to Tennessee and started living with Mad's mother and started a family. And now, he was a farmer when he lived with them. And now they have this like relatively famous farm. And when she was 10, he moved again and moved to Oklahoma, where he, picked up another woman, had another kid, and was a basketball coach. And now his daughter is a famous basketball player, college basketball player, who's in like March Madness. Okay. And so they decide, so when Rube meets Mad, he's like, I'm going to go on this road trip in this PT Cruiser and try to track down our siblings and maybe our dad. And I would like for you to come with me if you're down for that. And at first she's like, no, not interested.
No, thanks.
But ends up changing her mind, and she kind of almost against her own better judgment decides that she's going to go. And so they're on this road trip driving from Tennessee to Oklahoma to meet their half-sister, and kind of getting to know each other, and then hoping they can convince their sister to also join this weird road trip to meet their brother, who is then like, he's 11. So they're like all 10 years apart. It's like every 10 years he moves on, starts a new family. And so it's just the story of this weird group of half siblings in remarkable circumstances on a road trip, coming to terms with the fact that they even have siblings, and getting to know each other and starting to try and figure out who their father was. Right.
And just like kind of dealing with, I assume it being a Kevin Wilson book, that it's odd throughout, and like the family members are, a little weird. And
it's the circumstances are unusual. Yeah. Like he wrote another book, which I don't remember, but it involves kids who spontaneously combust. Yes. And so it's not weird to that degree.
Okay.
But it is definitely like this situation is strange. The fact that they are able to figure out, like, they all look the same. They're all very tall. They're obviously related, all of these siblings. But the fathers that they knew could not be more different from each other.
Oh, interesting.
So this idea that, like, her farmer father could have been this mystery writer in Boston, or this basketball coach in Oklahoma, or continue on down the line, like, and each one of them is like, there's no way that my dad was also that, but he was, like, they know he was.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Cool.
So yeah,
I like it.
Yeah.
Kevin Wilson does good kind of weird books.
Bit off center,
but
in a way that it's not weird for just the sake of writing something wacky. Like, there's always a reason that the weird thing is the way it is.
It kind of reminds me sometimes of, like, his books remind me of maybe like the better of Wes Anderson movies, where things are like weird and quirky, but it's usually in the service of telling some kind of story. You know what I mean? Or getting to some, this is getting to literary criticism, like getting to some kind of emotional truth. Because it kind of, you let your guard down because you're willing to go on this, journey with them. But then, and then it usually kind of ends up being strange. And I would almost say that is the journey he's setting up for his characters in this book. Okay. Like, they all think that they've moved on, and like their dad left and they're fine with it. They have maybe some resentment, but like they're fine. They're operational. But in the course of the story, you can feel that they're like trying to figure things out. And not just with their dads, but like Mad finds out that he had been calling her mom on her birthday. Not every year, but every once in a while he would just randomly call her on her birthday and never ask to talk to her, like to his daughter. Weird. And like coming to terms with the fact that A, she didn't know he was calling, and B, that he didn't care to talk to her. Like, what does that mean to you as a kid? Like, trying to figure that out. Like, not only were you left, because that's one thing. But then you were forgotten. And like, why? Or like, what was going on in his life that he was still calling but not talking to? Interesting. So if you have complicated family dynamics, this would probably feel not familiar because the circumstances are unique, but like you've probably thought about a lot of the same kinds of things. Well, I think that's like the mark of sometimes a good story is like it touches on something universal, but in a way where you can view it as an outsider. In a way, like you can view it more objectively. Get a fresh take. Because it's different enough. It's not exactly like what you went through, but it's in the same vein. Cool. He's an enjoyable writer if you're looking for something that's smart and feels satisfying but is unusual. He will fit that bill. He's on my list of like maybe 4 or 5 people that I'm like, whatever they have coming out next, I'll just read it. Like, I don't need to know what it's about even. I'll just be like, sure. I'll do that. I know the feeling when you're just one of your auto reads. You're like, they've never let me down. So it's almost like, I don't know if I should say this out loud. I'm like, Amazon should set up a service where you could select authors and they just send you their next book when it comes out. And I'm like, why am I saying this on a podcast so that they can AI scrape it and then be like, ooh, we could make more money. Though, I gotta say, I just found out that Daniel O'Malley has a new book. I love Daniel O'Malley. Do you remember Stiletto? I talked about Stiletto and I wouldn't shut up. Yes, I do remember Stiletto. Yes. Well, he has a brand new book and I didn't know until after it was already out. See, this is what I'm saying. Like, you should just be able to go to the mail one day and it's there. And you're like, okay. I feel like I keep up on this kind of thing. Like I'm dialed in. So if I wasn't dialed in, who knows when it would have been that I would have figured it out. I just feel like, I'm an adult and it's like I could take the financial hit of the 4 or 5 authors I follow really closely who put out a book every other year at the
there
most.
are websites though where you can
Yeah.
sign up for alerts
That's true.
where they don't send you the book, but they'll send you an email saying this author you told us you like
Yeah,
has a new book coming out.
it's true. The only one I couldn't do that with of people I like is Jeff Strand, because he puts out way too many books. I would be like, I should not have committed to this. He's writing them faster than I can read them, and now I spent $250 on Jeff Strand this year. I've made a mistake.
Yeah.
All right.
No such thing as too many books.
No, it's true.
All right. I don't know, man. I'm going to go with Dawn to Dawn.
Okay. So this takes place at a Japanese high school, as many manga do. And basically we have our two characters, right? We have our one character who is Momo, who is a girl who believes in like spirits, ghosts, things like that, and has a grandma who has like mystical powers or something. And eventually you meet the grandma and she looks like she's like 30, probably because of mystical powers. And then you have Okakun, who is a boy who deeply believes in UFOs. So these two come together at some point, and the one is like, all that ghost stuff is nonsense, but UFOs super real. And the other one is, the opposite, right? Is like, UFOs, that's dumb, that's for kids. Ghosts, however, super real. So what they end up doing is they argue, and at some point they go like, all right, fine. I believe in UFOs, you believe in ghosts. I will go to a haunted location, and I'll prove to you that there's no such thing as ghosts. And at the same time, you have to go to, like the UFO hotspot that's closest by and prove to me there's no such thing as UFOs. And, so it's like a little bit of like a, fine, I'll show you. And like, right. Fine, I'll show you, So, of course, they go. Okakun goes and, of course, encounters a ghost and gets sort of like weirdly possessed by a ghost. And Momo is abducted by aliens. And they both...
I hate it when that happens.
Yep. First time out for both of them. And they both sort of end up with weird superpowers, I guess you might call it, that they don't really understand as a result of this, and that's part of the fun of this is the boy is kind of cursed by this ghost, but also the curse has some benefits. And so kind of then what they're trying to do is move on and try and remove their various curses because they're like, okay, I guess you were right. But now, so then they're kind of like coming together and using their our powers combined to sort of relieve each other of these curses they now have. It's a good one for people who like Chainsaw Man is a very popular manga right now. And I think the person who made this one worked on that for a while. It has kind of a similar feel of being a little scary or a little intense in parts, but also pretty goofy.
Yeah.
It does have, as a little content warning, there is some like implied-ish sexual assault, just for a content warning for readers.
Okay.
I didn't find it to be graphic or intense in any way. But if that's just like a no, absolutely never for you, then don't read this. This isn't for you. But overall, I think it's a pretty fun book. It's something I've found in manga that doesn't seem to exist as much in American comics is like, I can see the appeal in those books of just having ridiculously optimistic main characters.
Right.
I was reading One Piece, the popular one that's in volume like 150 or something at this point.
It is so long.
And it's definitely the appeal of it is the main character is just like an optimist to the point of ridiculousness, but it's like, it makes it fun, and the way other people react to those people is fun because the other people in the book are like, what is wrong with this guy? And this has some of that feel. But I also felt like it almost to me felt a little bit like a rom-com, because it's like he believes in UFOs, she believes in ghosts, you know what I
Right.
mean? And like they do their, combine up together thing.
Yeah.
It's not quite like, because I think the classic rom-com would be like he believes in ghosts. She's a scientist working at a university who,
Right.
thinks there's a science. Mulder and Scully, right, is your classic romantic tension. So this is a little different from that, but it has a little bit of that feel. And I do feel like it's kind of a fun sidestep from like a rom-com sort of genre thing, because it's got that element a little bit to it, but also it's got something else going on. It's not focused on that so much, and it's not just about that. But it has like some awkwardness to it. It has some weird things to it. Like there's something to do with, I can't really remember exactly, but something to do with his curse. As long as she's looking at him, he won't transform or something like that. But so then he reveals that he's been holding in going to the bathroom for like 2 days because he doesn't want her to watch him go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
But eventually, it has to happen.
Yep.
So, it's like little funny things like that that, I don't know, just I found very enjoyable.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a good series. I think it's become more popular. There is I think a manga, maybe it's one of those Netflix, I know has been adapting a lot. I think that might be where it is.
Okay.
But yeah, I recommend it. It was a good read, and like it's some manga you're like you have to get 7 volumes in before things start happening, or before you're like, oh, I see, now I get it. This isn't one of those. This is one that you're like one in and you're like, oh, okay. Like you'll either know whether or not it's for you.
Right.
Pretty quick.
Okay.
So you don't have to.
That's nice.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you do the one, and one volume of those, I would say takes average reader 40 minutes, somewhere in there, probably. And then you'll know whether or not you're into it.
Cool.
Boom.
All right.
Okay.
Okay, so books we didn't talk about. I have Harriet Tubman live in concert by Bob the Drag Queen.
Which I was excited to hear about, but I had to go with my boy, Kevin Wilson.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, I'll still go into it a little.
Yeah.
So this book takes place in like an alternate world where some historical figures have come back, and they're existing alongside us in everyday life.
From the dead?
From history.
Okay.
So it's like they were plucked out of history and plopped down in our time. And Harriet Tubman is one of those, along with her brother, Quaker, who was an abolitionist, and some other people in like her crew. And she has gotten in touch with the main character, Darnell, who I got the sense might have been at least a loose stand-in for Bob the Drag Queen himself. I think his real name might actually be Darnell.
Oh, okay.
But I'm not sure. And
that would be so complicated I just was thinking like, okay, if you're a drag queen and you have your drag queen performer name, you've got your like given name, and then you're going to write a book.
Yeah.
And then you're like, what do I have a pen name? What do I do?
Yeah.
That would be hard.
Well, he published it under his drag name.
Yeah, it would be like when I was sitting there typing it, do I feel like I was typing it as Bob the Drag Queen, or was I typing it as,
Well, I have a feeling that he depending on, like, he probably would have gotten encouragement from his publisher to publish it under the name
I would think so.
Was known.
Marketing forces wise, I'd be like,
Yeah.
If you're willing to do this, I think that would probably be the best option. Anyway, I'm sorry.
That's okay. So the main character, Darnell, in this world, he is like a music producer.
Oh, okay.
So he helps write and create songs for hip hop artists. And Harriet Tubman reaches out because she has this group called Harriet Tubman and the Freemans.
Oh, okay.
And she wants Darnell to produce an album for her. And what this whole book feels like to me is Bob the drag queen letting his inner history nerd out to like have a good time in a book, and also to really work through like the thoughts of like freedom, and like, as because Bob the drag queen is Black, and so it almost feels like he's working through this idea of what his ancestors did to create freedom for their descendants, and what do we owe them for those sacrifices, and what does that mean, and what does it look like, and especially for him as like a gay man, like what does freedom look like for a Black gay man today? Does it look anything like Harriet Tubman might have expected? So it feels like him kind of exploring, because you can tell that he thinks of her as like a hero, and rightly so.
That's fair.
I also do.
Yeah.
She was amazing and did things that
Not
are
the
kind
hottest
of
hot take.
Yeah. Well, and I've read a little bit about Harriet Tubman in some books, some historical fiction involving some of what she did. She was the first woman to ever command troops for, in the United States.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, she was really amazing. And she had narcolepsy, or something that looks like narcolepsy to us, resulting from probably a traumatic brain injury, because a white man threw something very heavy at her when she was a child. It hit her in the head.
Oh.
And then every once in a while, she would just pass out and be out for who knows how long.
Weird.
And when you think about someone who was running people on the Underground Railroad, who that happens to sometimes, and the fact that she was never caught.
Yeah.
And she ran, every one of her runs was successful. She got everyone out, and she was never caught.
It's pretty wild.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I can't imagine that. If I was taking like a tour of like a city I was unfamiliar with, and the tour guide was like, just a heads up, I may just pass out at any moment, and like, then you're on your own or something. I'd be like, ooh.
Or you can hang around and wait for me to wake up whenever that is.
I'd be nervous about that.
Yeah.
And, I'd be like, well, realistically, if, that happens, I guess I will call an ambulance and then sit here and play Super Mario Run on my phone. I'll be fine.
So, but yeah, it just feels like Bob the drag queen fictionally meeting one of his historical heroes, while also working through some thoughts and some ideas about, identity and history and freedom and, all that heavy stuff.
Interesting.
But in a way, and also I would recommend potentially getting this on audiobook, because there are a couple of songs that he wrote for the book included in the audiobook version.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That reminds me of like there was a Star Trek episode where Abraham Lincoln was on there. It kind of felt like that. Like the writers were like, man, I want to meet Abraham Lincoln. You know? And so they're like, well, I guess this is as close as it gets.
Harriet Tubman, not a fan so much of Abraham Lincoln. Yeah. She said he was not an actual abolitionist.
I mean.
And I believe it. I think that it was a practical decision that he made and not an abolitionist decision.
I don't know enough about either.
He was a product of his time.
Yeah.
Which is, not a huge compliment either.
Right. Yeah.
But.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It just seemed like almost, I don't know, like that they were doing like a weird version of Abraham Lincoln fanfic or something. But it was because they're like,
same vibe.
Man, I think he rules. I want to meet that guy.
Yeah.
And I can't, but this fictional character could.
Yeah.
In the future.
Yeah.
On the Enterprise.
So yeah, it feels like that. And it's really short. The audiobook is something like 5 or 6 hours, which is pretty short for an audiobook. The book itself has got to be pretty short as well.
Yeah.
And it is, I've never read anything like it. And as a fan of Harriet Tubman, like it was fun seeing someone imagine how she would react to living now.
Yeah.
Because it's got to look completely different from anything she's familiar with. And there are obviously things that have gotten better,
Right.
but not everything.
Right. Yep.
So I don't know. I've quite enjoyed it. Like I said, it's gotten several starred reviews. It was actually really critically well received. For something where the author's listed as Bob the Drag Queen, you might think maybe not so serious, but no, he took it seriously and approached it seriously. He didn't take himself seriously,
Right.
but he took the project seriously.
I always think that's the magic formula for me.
Yeah.
It's like the author doesn't take themselves seriously, but takes the work seriously.
Yeah.
I think that is the best combo.
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah, I liked it. So that's Harriet Tubman live in concert by Bob the Drag Queen. I also had Nordlys by Malin Falch, which I primarily read because I am interested, like part of my heritage is Norwegian, and I'm interested in Norwegian mythology, and this graphic novel, which is appropriate starting at like middle school, I would say. There's nothing objectionable, but I still found it interesting. It's this Norwegian girl at her confirmation day, and she wakes up in the middle of the night and finds like the equivalent of like an elf in her house looking for something that was taken from him. It turns out to be a pin that her uncle found and gave to her. And then he ends up taking her to like the magical part of Norway where there are Vikings and animals that talk and trolls and like all of the cool, fun Norwegian mythology stuff.
Nice.
And she has adventures there.
Okay.
With Bjorn, who's like a bear that talks, and she sees real creepy looking trolls like walking through the forest and has to hide from them. And I don't know, it's just fun. And like I said, it was originally a Norwegian book, so
okay.
I'm trying to learn Norwegian, so I tried to find it in the original to see if I could understand any of it, but I didn't have any luck.
So is this like kind of like a fairy tale mythology sort of vibe, or
like the main character Sonia she's living in like modern-ish times. I'm not sure. I wouldn't say that it's like right now, but they at least have like phones.
Okay.
And but outdoors culture, much like Colorado, is very big in Norway. Climbing mountains, skiing is huge. So she spends a lot of time like on her horse out in nature. And once she goes to this magical realm, it's all like out and in nature. And
okay, nice.
With the added bonus of like all of the magical creatures, and some of the animals talk, and
gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
That sounds cool.
Yeah, it's fun. And like I said, it's kid appropriate.
Yeah.
I think they would even find it enjoyable, but as an adult, like I'm still finding it charming and fun, and I like the perspective of like getting some Norwegian mythology. You get a lot of Greek mythology, a lot of Roman. Yeah. You're starting to see more, but it feels like there's less Norse. But you're starting to get more of that like Norse mythology, and even like some books are having some African mythology, which is fun. Yeah. So it's exciting to start seeing more than just Greek.
It is cool to see. Yeah, I don't know why Greek mythology has been so. Maybe because it was so recorded and stuff like that.
And the Odyssey and
that's
the Iliad are, I think that.
I just feel like too, maybe it's just it was more, I don't know, repeated, recorded, and that kind of stuff, maybe than some other.
Well, in the Greeks, mythology. All those philosophers, like they were really well respected and wrote a lot of stuff down. So what gets written down gets shared.
I guess they were very into that as a culture. Look at our cool philosophers.
Yep.
Yeah, it is fun when you see those different things. We had like a book when I was a kid, and it was like an illustrated thing but it crammed them together, like Greek and Norse mythology, kind of put it all into one thing, and didn't really separate out which things, like it had a thing about Ragnarok or something. And
yeah, that's not going to confuse anyone.
Yeah, and I was like, what? So these are all, but I guess I came also from a Marvel Comics background where you're like, well, Thor is just a guy, but also a god. But he's in the Avengers, and you're like, all right.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Good
all
times. Right. That's what I have.
So there were two that I didn't talk about. First, I'll talk about Marvel 2-in-1 Annual number 7 from 1982. So this is an extremely comic book story, but it's one of my favorite stories of the Thing from Fantastic Four, who is my favorite character from the Fantastic Four. I think he's a standout character and one of my favorite Marvel Universe characters. Who I just don't think gets his due very much, at least definitely on screen, because, Fantastic Four has had some troubled outings.
Have you heard anything about this new one?
I haven't. Okay. I think it just came out when we're recording this last night / today.
Yeah.
I think is the premiere.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I don't know what to believe anymore either, because sometimes people talk about these things and I find them... I have found more recently that, like, I think I've been fatigued by comic movies for quite a while.
Yeah.
And I enjoy the act of reading comics more than watching the movies, which isn't everybody. I don't think that's most people. But I've just found that, like, I'm a fan of comics more than I am of the movies. Mm-hmm. But I think also, I feel like what's fun about the comics to me is having such a long history and stuff with the characters, I think they can do more with them. Yeah. Where when they're having to introduce all these characters all the time,
it's a lot of origin stories.
Yeah. Yeah. And I don't need a Fantastic Four origin story. Yeah. You know what I mean? I don't need Ma and Pa Kent to find a UFO crashed in their field. You know what I mean? I'm like, we could just start the movie when he's 30.
I'm fine with the origin stories on like I'm fine with them doing a Fantastic Four origin story for me, because this will be the first Fantastic Four movie that I think I've seen. But if we have to watch another Spider-Man origin story, I feel like I've seen that on screen like 3 times.
Well, in the last Fantastic Four movie too, I think it was one of those. My main beef with them is usually like, if it's 45 minutes before they have superpowers, that's too long. Yeah. Like, we're wasting too much time. I think that was the main problem with the sort of version they made with like Michael Chiklis and Jessica Alba and future Captain America.
Yeah. Fun reveal in the Deadpool movie.
Oh, is he in that?
He's in that, but not as
Torch?
Yes. You think it's going to be Cap, but then they pull a switcheroo.
I think that was always a barrier for me of seeing him as Captain America, because I was like, I saw him as the Human Torch, and I didn't love. He wasn't bad. I just didn't love that movie, and was like,
he's definitely made for Cap more than Human Torch.
It probably would have been better for me having first seen him that way.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Sorry.
So, in this story, it's a very comic booky story where basically an intergalactic fight promoter shows up at the Thing's house and is like, and Thing is a giant orange rock man, basically. His superpowers are that he's very strong. Not as strong as the Hulk, but stronger than most characters in the Marvel Universe. And this fight promoter shows up, like alien looking guy. Looks kind of like a grasshopper or something. And he's like, hey, come fight, the intergalactic champion. And Thing is like, for why? And he's like, because, it's like a boxing match or whatever. And Thing's like, no.
It's like, I'm actually a scientist.
Yeah. And he's like, I actually don't like just, punching stuff and whatever. Like, I'm not really into that. Yeah. I do. My catchphrase is it's clobbering time, so I can understand why you would think that.
Hence the confusion.
Yep. So basically, though, the fight promoter gets the no and then is like, okay, and then just teleports him to this other planet anyway, where he meets up with a bunch of other superheroes, and they're supposed to fight the champion of the universe, aka Trico Slatterus, which is a name that I don't know how they came up with.
That's a name.
yeah, Trico Slatterus. So there's a bunch of like the sort of heavy hitters of the Marvel Universe from the time. And they're put into like a training module, and they're supposed to fight these robots or whatever to get them ready to fight this champion. Namor, the Submariner, gets kicked out right away because he just refuses. He's like, no, I'm not going to do this. I'm the prince of the seas. I'm not going to lower myself to this. And they're like, all right. So they just boot him out. Doc Samson, also, who's he's an ally of the Hulk, but has fought the Hulk many times. So he's like, I mean, how bad could it be? You know what I mean? And this robot basically wrecks him immediately. And so they're like, well, I guess he's out. And then the actual fight starts. And what ends up happening is they find out the stakes are the planet Earth. Mm-hmm. And so if the champions lose, the Earth gets, I don't know, destroyed, whatever. Standard comic book stuff, right? So Thor gets in the ring and starts fighting and is doing okay, but then just sort of he throws his hammer, which is unacceptable in the rules. Oh, okay. So he gets like booted out of the contest. Then the Hulk gets in the ring and he's like enraged, and the champion is like, well, this is like fighting with an animal and I don't want that. I want like a real fight.
Right.
But not just to a beast or whatever.
Right.
So he gets booted out. So then a couple others fight him and they can't beat him, because he's the champion of the universe. So then it all comes down to the Thing. He's the last one left. He's Earth's only hope. And they basically fight. And he fights the champion for like 3 rounds, which is as long as anyone has ever fought him. But he's getting wrecked the whole time. He's not going to win. And so eventually the champion declares himself the winner and is like, whatever. But the Thing refuses to give up and is like crawling on the ground in the ring and like, you can't beat me, whatever. And so then the conclusion of it is the champion is like, I could punch you all day, but I can never break your spirit. So you win. You're the champion. And so then the Earth is saved. It's a really good comic. I think it's like quintessentially what's good about Marvel comics of the era, which is like a lot of the Marvel comics did a really good job of the characters are underdogs most of the time. And they're in over their heads most of the time. And they sort of have to rely on their spirit as opposed to their superpowers and stuff like that.
They're Rocky.
Yeah. It's very much a Rocky story. Very much. Somebody probably saw Rocky and was like, what if we did Rocky in space? And we had a literal rock man. I mean, when you start connecting it, you're like, wow, that's a little obvious.
It's on the nose.
Yep. Anyway, great issue. There's another one, a Fantastic Four issue that I like a lot called This Man, This Monster. That's also about the Thing. It's Fantastic Four issue 51. And you can read it kind of standing alone if you wanted to. And that's about... So the thing is, the Fantastic Four all go into space. They get bombarded with cosmic rays. It gives them powers. The other 3 basically look normal all the time. And Thing is kind of cursed because he looks like this big monster.
Right.
And so he gets the chance to revert back to being a normal human. And so it's kind of about... how difficult his life is because of this change that he's had.
Right.
Really cool. The other book is Plumbers Don't Wear Ties by Mike Drucker.
Yeah.
Okay. So Plumbers Don't Wear Ties was originally a video game made for the 3DO, which is a console that most people don't know about for good reason. It's something that today I think we wouldn't call it a video game so much. It's more like an interactive fiction story, like a choose your own adventure. Basically playing it is like, if you remember like a DVD menu from when they put a lot of effort into DVD menus, and you kind of make different choices using a remote that sort of looks like a DVD remote, and a little story plays out. The story is super basic because it's basically a guy meets girl. And then she goes into a building for a job interview. And for some reason, the job interviewer starts attacking her. So she runs away. And you have to make choices for the different characters of like, do I intervene? Do I do this? Whatever. It super sucks. The game is terrible. It's not full motion video either. It's just stills, which is a big complaint of, you know, players at the time. But what it kind of seems like is it's this weird growth period for games where they're like, we have this new CD-ROM technology, so we can do things we couldn't do before. But what do we do with it?
Yeah.
And then someone had an idea of doing like it's also an adult-oriented story. So there's like, I don't know if there's actually any like nudity in it, but there's like PG-13 nudity in it, I guess.
Yeah.
And so maybe like also they're like, what if we made games for adults? You know what I mean? Or something. But then it's sort of like they had the idea and then they're just like, nah, just throw something together. You know what I mean? And then whatever, and so on and so forth. So anyway, what happened is this company, I think it's called First Run Games. For some reason, I don't know why, they bought the rights to Plumbers Don't Wear Ties. So they re-released it like on the Switch and Xbox and stuff like that. I'm not exactly sure why, but they did. And since they own the property, I guess they also were like, what if we did a novelization to go along with it?
Why not?
So they did. It's really interesting. First, as an object, it looks like Nintendo put out these books called Worlds of Power, and they have a distinct look to them of the game art, but then also some things on the cover. And then also the book they put out for Plumbers Don't Wear Ties has like a library card pocket in the back, and it has a card that goes in there for the book. And it has the names of everyone who's checked it out, you know, if you old school library people, and the author Mike Drucker's name's on there like 5 times, you know. So basically Mike Drucker tries to novelize this story, even though it's a terrible story and there's not much going on and like whatever. And so that's kind of part of the fun of it, is because he's struggling to be like, how do I write this, you know, and like, what do I put in here? And he puts in an extra character, which is like a sort of semi-aware raccoon. And then, you know, halfway through is like, I really regret doing this, you know, and like, I don't know what to do with this character now. It's just super fun. It's very weird. It's a fun that they created an object like this. And I like this. This is like a newer trend that a couple publishers are doing of making novelizations of things that never had them. Mm-hmm. Jeff Strand's Attack of the Killer Tomatoes is my favorite. Right. But it's funny. It's quirky. It's like a very weird entry into the world of books from an indie press. And for me, it's fun because it's like a thing. I always like to look for things that books are doing that other media can't do. And I think sort of going back and making a novelization of something as if it existed in the time is an interesting idea. So yeah, that's Plumbers Don't Wear Ties.
Cool.
I recommend the book a lot. I don't recommend the game. You don't really have to play the game to enjoy it at all. Or maybe what I would tell you to do is like watch a Let's Play, and you'll get the idea of,
without suffering through it.
Yeah, because actually doing the work to have to play it is not worth it. I mean, I cannot figure out who they're selling these new copies of it to. I guess people, you know, like me, who are just like weird and we want to play it for the novelty. Right. You're real video game nerds. Yeah, I guess so. Who are just like, it's a famously bad game. Right. So if you're someone who's like, well, I want to try it because it's famously bad. I want to see how bad it is. But, you know, the book, I don't know, it's almost like weirdly redemptive of the game in a way, because it's like, well, something came out of it that's really fun. So, you know, it only took 30 years for that to turn into, for them to mold that clay into a diamond-shaped piece of clay. And that's it.
Cool.
We did it.
Nice.
So that's 8 books,
Yep.
4 in depth, 4 in shallow.
You've said that one before.
I have.
Yep.
I like it. And yeah, we'll see you next time. Don't forget to, number 1, go to mylibrary.us/yesfest and do that. Number 2, it is late July,
Yeah.
but it's not too late to do summer reading.
That's true.
In fact, I encourage people to do summer reading in the last 2 weeks. Like if you want the challenge mode, you know what I mean? You're like, I don't know, summer reading's not for me. It's too easy. It's for kids.
It is a flex move.
Yeah.
It's like when you're running a race and one person just hangs around at the starting line for a while and
Yep.
you're like, what's this guy up to?
Yes. Yeah. And then you're like, and then they annihilate everyone.
Yep.
You're like, how is that possible?
Yep.
That would be the move here. So consider it.
Yeah.
If you want to be like a true reading badass, this is the time to sign up.
It's true.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
All right.
And you can use it as a nice warm bath intro to Arrow, which
That's
is
right.
the year-round reading challenge.
That's right. I started talking about something I call Double Dip Summer, because you can sign up for Arrow and SRA at the same time.
And use the same book on both.
You can use the same books on both. So you could do it. You have official permission.
Yeah. Those who know.
Yeah, that's right.
You heard it here.
Use offer code, whatever
Double
your
dipping.
email is to sign up for it, and magically it'll work. All right. We'll see you next time.
Bye.